The number of young people immersed in drug abuse is on the rise, especially teenagers. Why is that? And what are those signs you look out for to know people that are immersed in drug abuse? These and other factors what we're looking at today on today's episode of Regardless, your #1 anti-drug abuse television show put together by Christ Against Drug Abuse Ministry, CADAM, a faith-based non-for-profit organization that are at the forefront of fighting against drug abuse. Of course, coming under the auspices of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. My name is Louisa Olani and I'm your host for today. We'll take a sneak peek into the video of today and then we'll be right back to introduce our guest and delve straight into the issue. It is Regardless. Do stay tuned.
So what are we doing this year?
I'm still thinking about it.
Cultural Day is next week, oh.
I know, it's just so hard to decide.
Okay. Take as much time as you need. But don't come and put me under pressure when it's 2 days to. You know you don't have a costume yet.
Mom, this is the last one before graduation.
I know.
I just want to make it memorable.
Haven't they all?
I just want to stand out. What?
Since when did you start caring about standing out?
Never mind, Mom. I'll just go with the one for last year.
Hey, young lady. Is there something you want to talk to me about?
I don't want to be remembered as the girl who always came first.
What is wrong with that?
When they have difficulty comprehending what was taught, they always come to me.
But that's not a bad thing now.
I know, but nobody bothers asking me if I'm Team Obio or Team Starboy.
Team what?
Never mind, Mom.
Look, you're a special and gifted child. And that is a blessing, my dear.
Sometimes I don't feel it is.
Hey, Dave.
Good afternoon, Mom.
It's evening, son.
I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
I'm just tired. It's been a stressful week.
Well, okay, maybe you should go take a bath and that.
Maybe he's really tired. Dave. Dave. David, wake up.
What is it now? What is it? What is it?
What is it? What is it? I don't understand. This is the second time I'm coming here. Come and eat now.
I said I'm not hungry now. I'm not hungry. Is it by force?
You're not hungry.
I'm not hungry. Thank you.
It's your favorite though.
I'm not hungry. Thank you.
I'll start for all I care.
She didn't even turn off the lights.
Where is your brother?
He's still saying he's not coming.
Did you tell him it's his favorite?
Yes, I did.
That's strange.
You can't force him to eat.
But he never says no to jollof rice.
There's always a first time. And you, make sure you finish that food.
Is everything okay? Are you okay?
Yes, Why won't I be?
You have me very worried.
I'm just tired.
Tired? You've been tired all weekend.
I just have so much going on at school.
Oh. You have a big test or something?
Yes, big test.
Hey, young man. Where are you going?
I'm going to my room, Mama.
We are still talking.
Okay.
Just take for instance your personal hygiene. It leaves so much to be desired lately. That's not how I raised you. Get a haircut, wash your clothes, brush your teeth, clean your room. Or do you need money for deodorant? Dave? David! Hey! Rufus, you need to talk to your son, though.
Look, woman, you're looking for issues where there are none.
Your son is behaving erratic.
It's normal for boys about his age.
There's nothing normal about that.
Look, it is a phase, it will pass.
Rufus.
Look, I want to walk. Am I allowed to do that? Good. David! Where is it?
Dad,
Don't daddy me. Where's my money?
what money now?
Are you asking me?
What's going on here? Eh?
I left 28,000 naira in my wallet. Now I went there and I can only find 8,000.
So, Dad, you think I took it?
I didn't think you took it. I knew you did. Because you were the last person that went into my room before we went to bed last night. And I sent him to go and get me some documents from beside the drawer. Eh? And this wallet was on top of it.
David.
I swear to God, Mom. I didn't take anything from his wallet. I only took the papers.
David, I was once your age. Eh? You think you know how to lie, but I'm a pro in dictating one.
Honey, are you sure of the amount?
How can you be asking me that? You think I don't know how to count my money again?
Dad, what am I even doing with that type of amount?
I guess we will never know. Because I am not leaving this room until I find out what is mine. And I don't care if we have to turn this room upside down. So come, let's get to work. Let's get to work!
Wow, heart-wrenching video of what Dave has grown into in the Rufus's family. Well, you're still watching regardless, and of course that video there was a typical scenario of what happens in Nigerian families. But again, joining me to give more light on that video is a clinical psychologist, none other than Mr. Tunde Ayonyemi. Hope I got the pronunciation right.
Yes, you did.
I was
Thank you.
schooled behind cameras to do that correctly. I
Thank
hope
you
I
very
got it.
much for having me on the show.
Interesting. All right, I mean, you are a psychologist. You must have seen all of these things, been there, done that, understanding all of that. But before we delve straight into some of the cases you've handled, let's look at that video one more time and analyze what went wrong with that family using that video as a case study.
Okay. So, looking at the video, the Rufus family, for example, you will notice some things about that unique family. So, it's a family where the mother seems to be the observant one, and the father is just the carefree. Like, if David does not want to come and eat, it's okay, just allow him. You know, anything that is going on, just, I mean, it's their stage. They will grow out of it. And these are the mistakes people make. You don't just, now, all of you eat together, you are the man of the family, you allow you guys eat together at a certain time. So when you notice that there's a difference and somebody is just taking a stroll off, does not want to partake again in that family lunch, breakfast, whatever it is, then it's a sign that something is already happening. And like many other substance abuse cases, you discover that part of the signs you see is what Dave is displaying, wanting to stay all by himself alone, just wanting to sleep all by himself, as in sleep and not even take care of himself. Like the mother noticed at some point in time that he was unkept, he wasn't even having his bath or something like that. So those are the things you see in people mostly with substance abuse, like what Dave is actually
Don't you think
exhibiting.
that sometimes we might mistake the usual or the normal teenage age where some of these characteristics are the same? At what point can we now draw a line and say, no, this is not about becoming a teenager, this is about drug abuse?
Now, one thing you need to understand about teenagers is at that point in time, they're still trying to find out who they are. So they've not formed any personality yet. So you discover that they want to be out there, they want to experience what their colleagues are, what their friends are experiencing. They want to just, experience everything as much as possible. They ask questions of what they don't know. They think abstractly. They are just full of life. They want to know everything. So when you notice that one of them is just staying away, not wanting to interact with other people, wanting to always lock himself up in the room, and obviously the personal hygiene is not up to date anymore, then something is already happening.
At what point would you say it has gotten up to, this is the height of it?
Well, there's really no height. Catch it early, that's the basic thing.
Wow.
There's no height because you can never tell. This substance abuse behavior can be consistent for a number of years. And by the time you discover, it's already like 5 years into the drug and he has even started using multiple substances. So there's no point of, at this point, he's already at the height of it, or no. There's no height or low of it. The basic thing is, once you start noticing some of these signs, it's best you quickly tackle it at that point in time.
So as a psychologist, what are the cases you've dealt with personally?
Okay, currently I've dealt with so many cases, and currently I'm still dealing with cases, and I'm sure I'll keep dealing with cases till...
That's your job.
That's my job, anyway. Now, part of the cases I've dealt with has to do with a particular child who was suspended for a year in school, a private university. I won't mention the name of the school.
Okay.
So it was sent to us for rehabilitation on outpatient basis, actually. So in the course of talking to this boy, I discovered that there are a lot of family issues. Now, this is a boy whose father is a youth pastor, and that can be very challenging for the man. When the man came and we got talking, the man was like, how do you expect me, a youth pastor, to my son is, taking substances? How will I cope? So I have to send the boy to somewhere else, my grandma, to go and stay and all that. And I was telling the man that, no, it doesn't work that way.
It complicates the whole issue.
I mean, do you understand? But it was like, it's not done, it's not heard, it's unheard of. I'm a youth pastor, people look up to me in church, I train other people's children. So what will be said of my own son? And I said, sir, at this point in time, your ministry first is your family, is that boy. Don't just send the boy away. And the man kept arguing and arguing. He wouldn't be able to take it. I mean, it's a disgrace on his personality. It's a disgrace on his call and his ministry. And I kept working on the boy. The father even refused at some point in time to come for following sessions when we call for it. It's just the mother that is always there. But some years down the line, the father came back again. This time with the younger sister.
She too has joined the queue.
She has joined the queue. And the sister was even worse. She was like, you guys can do anything. I'm not ready to budge and I'm not ready to stop this drug.
Now let's look at why you think that happens. We grew up to know that sometimes it's the pastor's child that is even the worst and all of that. The very ghetto people might even grow up being more responsible. What factors are responsible, for such behaviors?
Now, part of the factors that are responsible, especially in Christian and pastoral home, has to do with neglect. Now, you see the pastor spending so much time in the church,
Grooming other people's
family, and the children are just there at home, probably with their mother, or even their mother too, mommy G or whatever, is also in the church attending to women meeting, and the child is just left all by his or herself, especially either with the maid or whosoever, and you can't predict the Christianity of these people. So they are just there in the house, or they are trying to mingle with other people, and while doing that, they can be introduced into these substances. So while the pastor is just busy, pursuing ministry, doing all that, and other Christians are just doing from one church meeting to another, you don't even have time for your children to go through their assignments, to go through their work at home, their homework. You want to know. You're not even conscious of the fact that the biro the boy took out of the house this morning was not what he brought back home. You're not conscious of all those little things, and these are signs, even as a child. Not even to that adolescent stage. As a child, your boy is bringing up something from another person's locker and everything, and he's telling you, and you are just laughing about it. You're not seeing it as something you should quickly nip in the bud, but you are just telling them that, he's still a child, don't discipline him. Over time, he's going to outgrow it. Some children don't actually outgrow it.
Really sad one there. We'll take a break. When we come back, you're going to list maybe, we don't know how many of these, signs. I mean, you just mentioned one like we see in the video of withdrawal. There might be 1,001 signs that children exhibit, when they're into drugs that the family might not know. You take us through that right after this very short break. So stay tuned.
My name is Tunde Ayemi, and I am a clinical psychologist. I've been in rehabilitation for about 9 years, and I've also been working with teenagers for over 20 years. Now, my advice to you is that in all that you're doing, make sure you run away from drugs as much as you can. Once you get engaged in drugs, other things follow, and you may not be able to control it at the end of the day. So just as much as possible, irrespective of the challenges you are going through, run away from drugs. Thank you.
Thanks for staying tuned. You are still watching Regardless, an anti-drug abuse television show put together by CADAM. And we've been discussing recognizing the signs of drug abuse. Of course, our guest, Mr. Tunde Ayoyemi, has been doing justice to all of the insights as to how you can detect if your child, your ward, your spouse is into drug abuse. Of course, you're going to take us in depth. I mean, from that video again, I like referring to the video because that's our case study for today. Dave started out, withdrawing, not eating when others are eating, and other things came to play. I mean, there was a time he even stole or something, to get all of these things. So what other signs, visible signs, are there that parents can see to really take note of what is happening or the danger ahead?
Okay. Some of the other signs parents can check and look out for is consistent pattern of lies. I mean, if you are looking for liars, work with people who are using substances. So they don't even think about it before they lie. They lie
cover another lie.
It's just like that. So they keep lying. So lying is part of the things. Then their unusual crave for sex is another sign you should watch out for. I mean, people use substance for different things, and sex is part of what we've discovered that young adults or teenagers often use drugs or substances for. They want to prove their masculinity or how prowess they are when it comes to sex.
The most common one is wanting to boost their self-esteem, to make them feel bold and like...
It's still part of all those things, So you see, another sign you can also look out for is lack of self-esteem. So you see, if you see your boy just unnecessarily timid, or when you're talking to him, he's looking down. I know that there's some cultural practices that believe that when you're talking to an adult, you don't look eyeball to eyeball. It's a sign of disrespect. But as we are growing in the 20th, in this 21st century, is not like that. I mean, so part of the signs of assertiveness is you being able to look into the face of the person you are talking to and saying your mind. But when you discover that when you talk to your child is always cringing in, afraid, not wanting to talk to you, and all those things, those are also part of the sign that could lead, not necessarily that the boy has started. But is a sign that it could lead to substance abuse. Then another thing is fear. You know, people are so afraid of their parents. So some people are so afraid of their parents, and they just, when the father is coming and they hear the car horn, you just see them.
Just go
they
to
are,
bed.
I mean, do you understand? So watch out for those signs, because they are signs that could lead a child into substance use and substance abuse, as the case may be, and it could even get to that point of addiction.
Does this apply to adults too?
Yes, it does.
Interesting. Now let's come back to the high rate of mental issues we have in the country today.
Yes.
As you're working in that field,
Yes.
How bad is it?
It's very bad. I mean, WHO is saying that 1 in every 4 persons has mental illness. So is that bad? So if you look at it, if we are to check the statistics in Nigeria, so in a country of about 200 million or thereabouts, and we are looking at 1 in 4 people, do the math.
1 in 4.
1 in 4. So it's very, very, very bad.
Privilege, the old or the young?
Both.
1 in 4 persons are into drugs.
Both.
Wow.
But when it comes to substance abuse, you have more younger people than the adults.
Any statistics to back that? Like why is that? There are reasons.
Well, now, when you look at family dysfunction, is one major issue that is that is causing the substance abuse. I mean, for all the people I've worked with. Now, the fact that the husband and the wife are still together does not mean there is no dysfunction.
So true.
So we need to really get that
At the back of
our mind. Now, so when we define family dysfunction in a layman's term, people look at it as people who are either separated or involved in polygamous family, or they are divorced and all that. Now, you can be together and still be dysfunction and still be dysfunctional. So we see substance abuse candidates as a sign for a dysfunctional family.
Well, insightful, comments there on the issue on ground. But it seems that you've been hammering on substance abuse all the
Yes,
while.
yes.
Is there a difference between substance abuse and drug abuse?
Yeah, there's a whole lot of difference. You know, drug abuse is just basically the use of illicit drugs and prescribed drug and over-the-counter drugs. So when somebody abuses that, that's when you call it drug abuse. But it's gone beyond that, because we have alcohol abuse, and people abuse all forms of other substances, such as gum. People even go as far as going to sniff the sock away to get high.
That's shocking.
So I mean, that's why. So we can't just call it just drug, because the only thing that is being abused at this point in time in this set, 21st generation and all that, is not just about drugs alone. They abuse all manner of things.
So when the over-the-counter drug, when it leaves that, it becomes substance.
No, not that. That's not what I mean. It's still drug.
Okay.
But now, we don't usually call it just drug, because what these people, like I said, marijuana, for example, is a drug.
Okay.
So it's something that in US they give it as prescription, and they use it to treat some other things.
Yeah, clinical
so
marijuana
you talk of codeine, for example. There are tramadol and all those things. There are drugs that are being used, to treat pain and other things. But however, people mix all manner of things together. So when there is a mixture, you don't call it drug anymore.
It's not a substance.
It's now a substance. The substance covers it all, because it's a general name. You don't even know what to call what they're abusing anymore. Somebody is mixing coke and codeine. What name will you call that? That's not
codeine.
Codeine. Okay, so that's the reason why we call it substance. Basically, and that's the general name that is widely accepted.
So one last word there now. You're looking at the Rufus family and you want to prefer a solution. What would that be? Okay,
so if you are like the Rufus family and you are noticing this signs, like your child does not want to join you on the table anymore, your child just wants to lock himself up in the room and listen to music and do music, all day, and smoke and tell you, I just want to be by myself, I don't want to interact with anybody, and is unkept, please, as much as possible, get professional help. I mean, we can't overemphasize that. Just take this boy to the hospital, let them check. You never can tell. A UDT test, that's urine drug test, is enough to do the difference. It will tell you if this boy has been involved in drug and the kind of drug the boy is involved into. So, and as much as possible, like I said earlier on, for younger ones, do away from drugs.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tunde Ayonyemi, for taking us through some of the signs and symptoms or signs of people that are being abusing drugs. I mean, a whole lot of stuff there, and families should be able to pick one or two if there are situations like that in their family. You've been watching Regardless, an anti-drug abuse television series put together by CADAM. CADAM, of course, is under the auspices of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, and they are the forefront of the fight against drug abuse. This program is proudly sponsored by our partners, NEM Insurance, Fitson Healthcare, CFAX Group, and of course our collaborating partners, the NDLEA and the National Orientation Agency. Until we come your way again next week, same time, same station, please remember that there is always hope regardless of the situation, regardless of how deep you are into the drug or substance abuse. Seek help on time, because with help comes solution. Louisa Olani is my name. Thank you very much for staying tuned. See you next week.